I had to come out to the car. Life gets crazy every now and then. My client that I had this afternoon didn't know what she wanted, and you know how that goes. And they don't know what they want, then it's a guessing game and it takes longer than it needs to. But we got through it. She left happy, and that's what's important. So I'm 15 minutes late. My apologies. I'm not normally a late person. And then the little one was not happy. She needed to be played with. We had to do a puzzle, so I'm 15 minutes late because I had to do a puzzle with my little one. But we figured it out. We got the unicorns all put together and pretty, and so I'm here and I'm like, screw it. I'm going out to the car where it's quiet so you can hear me, and the lighting is good anyway. So webinar from the car. And so today's topic is 4 must-haves for every makeup artist website. So I have been getting tons and tons of requests for people wanting me to look at their websites, and I'm getting a lot of them, people. So it's not, you know, I can only look at so many. I can only do it so long for free. So I thought, well, I'll just do a quick little webinar and give you guys 4 tips of just some basic things that, you know, everybody's got to have. Some of you may already have these 4 things, but they are vital to you having a professional looking website as a professional makeup artist. And so many people don't have a lot of these things, and so it's quite interesting. And so I'm going to get down to it, and I'm going to talk about the very first thing is a domain name. So I get links to websites where it's like not a domain name. It's just a strange web address to like a Squarespace address or a Wix address or a WordPress address, but it's not a domain name. And the important thing about this is that you need to have a real address, because I want you to think of your website as your house. Your website is your real estate on the web, right? So the web is this world, it's this city, it's you know, it is the World Wide Web. It's just, you know, ginormous. And you have this tiny little bit of real estate. And basically, if you do not have a domain name, then you're renting. If you have a domain name, you have a home. You have your real estate on the web. And I want you to really kind of picture your website as your home and how you would decorate it. The curb appeal, the foundation, the structure, you know, how inviting is it, all these things. So really visualize your website as your home and your house. And how does your house look? And the first thing is you got to have an address. People need to know how to get to you. And it shouldn't be, your domain name should be preferably your name. Preferably. That is the most professional thing that you can do. If you can purchase your name, then that's what your website should be. Like, it shouldn't be, you know, Slay Faces by Bootylicious or something. I mean, please don't do that. That's just so unprofessional. You just really need to have something that is just simple, and just your name is probably the best thing you can have. Ideally, if you had an ideal domain name, would be something like Makeup Los Angeles. Too bad I already own it. It's mine. I bought it 18 years ago. I pay for it every year. But if you could have something like Makeup Artist San Antonio or Makeup Artist Dallas, something like that would be good too, because it's nice and searchable for the engine bots, search engine bots. But the best thing you can do is just buy your domain, your personal name. And I own Mary Rockwood Crabtree, I own Mary RC, I own Makeup Los Angeles, I own Makeup Las Vegas, I also own Dallas Makeup Hair. So that is gold right there. If you can get something that is your city, and then that is gold for you. All right, so number 2, I want to talk about clean design. Very clean design. You should not have colorful, backgrounds on your website, the focus of your house needs to be your work, the content that's in it. And to have like a fuchsia background, just it interferes with the imagery that you're putting on your website. It's busy, it's hard on the eyes, and nobody can focus on your work and your portfolio, and that's what needs to be the focus. So you need a very clean design. You need a very simple design. You don't want anything that's too busy, too many buttons. Very clean, very easy to navigate. So your pictures need to be, you know, organized properly, put in proper pages. You don't want 100 different categories on there. It should be very, very simple. If you are a commercial makeup artist, then you will have, you know, very simple navigation. There will be beauty, commercial work, lifestyle work, catalog work, something like that, but you really don't want more than, say, 5. I would say no more than 5 categories. And then if you're a bridal makeup artist, you want to just keep it very simple. And please call your work your portfolio. You know, I see sometimes where it says gallery, or it says, it'll just say images. Call your portfolio your portfolio. Use that word. Because I think a lot of people will have their sites designed by web designers who don't understand our business, and they use gallery all the time. That drives me crazy. It's like, this is not a gallery. This is a makeup artist portfolio. So this is your online portfolio. You need to explain that to somebody who's designing your website. And so number 3, must have is a striking opening image. You should not have an image of yourself as the opening image on your website. I'm seeing that a lot. I'm seeing a lot of, especially the newbies, with a picture of themselves doing makeup on a model. No, 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 no. No, don't do that. No. We want a striking image of your work. Everything, all the content on your website needs to be your work. It should not be Shutterstock. It shouldn't be anything else but your work, okay? And some people are like, well, I don't have a lot to show. And I have to give credit to Deshawn Hatcher. She was talking about marketing on her Periscope last night. And she said, and excuse me, Deshawn, I'm quoting you, this credit goes to Deshawn. She said that, you know, it's okay if you only have a few images, because people need to see where you are in your career. So if you're a newbie, then of course you're not going to have a lot of images, and that's okay. This is not a fake it till you make it kind of thing. So put up the best of the images that you do have. If they're terrible, don't put them up. Don't put something up just for the sake of putting it up. It's all about quality, not quantity, because you're only thought of as being as good as your worst image. Don't ever forget that. That's something that I never forgot. I don't remember who told me, but somebody said you're only as good as your worst image in the minds of others. So you need to have that one striking image when you come in, when someone pulls up your website. The best image that you've got, that's what needs to go up on your website, not a picture of you. Just put a little picture of yourself on your bio, because you need them to see what you can do to other people, not how fabulous you are and how great you do your own makeup. Don't do that. Let's see. I talked about easy navigation, striking image. Okay. And number 3, your phone number. Phone number needs to be front and center on your website. Thank you very much. Do not make it difficult for people to get a hold of you, because many times if you look at the analytics of your website, a lot of people never go past your opening image, your front and center image, and this is why you need that one striking image. A lot of times if you look at the traffic on your site, people will go to the opening page and that's it. So if they like what they see, usually they'll click through, or they'll just they usually will go, and then the second busiest page is contact. So if you can just have your phone number front and center on the website, you're going to make it so easy for people to call you, and that's what you want. You want to make it one click, easy to go, and you need to make sure that however your website is designed, that it is a one-click phone call. So whatever kind of button or code you need to make that happen. I use Squarespace, and so they have that option. They have, would you like to put a call button on there? And that's what I use, and I like it a lot. So phone number front and center. Don't worry about the robocalls. You're gonna get robocalls no matter what. Don't have just this contact form that somebody has to fill out just to get a hold of you. You need to have your email one click. You need your phone number one click. You need to be easy, easy, easy. This is the one point in time where Mama says you need to be easy, okay? You don't need to be easy with all the guys, but you need to be easy to call, all right? And if you don't want somebody to call your personal phone, it is my understanding that you can get a Google phone number or something like that. For me, I've had the same phone number for going on 20 years. I got this phone, my first cell phone, in 1998. And so, yeah, I'm going into my 20 years of having the same phone number. So at this point in my life, why am I going to change it? There's just no reason. So phone number front and center. Don't worry about the robocalls. You're going to get them if your phone number's around or not. I probably get about 3 robocalls a day, and my phone number has been on front and center on my website for 18 years. So what does that tell you? When you register your domain name, if you don't do it private, you're going to get a ton of phone calls probably for about the first week. But if you just keep telling them, no thank you, no thank you, no thank you, they'll eventually get you off your list. It's a pain, but it's still worth it. Okay, and then finally, what do I have for you? Phone number front and center, pics are in order. Why am I drawing a blank? Did I talk about it already? I talked about the domain name. I talked about your phone number. I talked about clean design. There was something else. There's number 4. I thought I wrote it down. I did kind of touch on this a little bit, but what you really need to do with your images, and I talked about categories, is you need to make sure that they are very clean and in order. Like, I've gone to some people's websites and they have fashion images with beauty images and commercial images, like they're not clean and categorized, and it's just a mess. It's just such a mess to go through. It just looks like a dirty house. You look like a hoarder. Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. Okay, here's the thing. We're talking about images. You need to rotate out the old and in with the new. So this is one thing. You always need to have fresh content coming into your website. This is number 4, fresh content. I don't know why I didn't write that down. So when you get something new, you take something old out. Again, back to you're only as good as your worst image. You really need to make sure that everything is clean and fresh. Girl, I probably have at least 4 full portfolios of work that I no longer use, that is no longer usable in my market. And so you have to kind of think like that as well. You have to go, okay, what is going to get me work? What image is going to work for me? What image is going to make my phone ring? And so, so maybe you've tested and your first couple of tests aren't fantastic, but there's something, right? There's something, and it shows that you're learning and you're trying. So you start there, and then you do a couple more tests and they get better and better. So as you get these really great images, you get rid of the ones that aren't so great, and you graduate and rotate them through. And the beautiful thing about this is that, going back to your list, which I'm a big person on the list, every time you're updating your portfolio, it's an opportunity for you to reach out to people and say, hey, I got some new work for you to check out. So you have to constantly be updating your content. Even if you're a seasoned makeup artist, if you haven't updated your website in a couple of years, for goodness sake, if you've got new content, get your tail busy and update your website. Just do it, sit down and make it happen. And oh, I know what another thing I wanted to tell you guys. So I guess you're gonna get 5. I kind of elaborated a little bit more than I had intended to. The other thing that is a must in today's market, now, today, so if you put your website up 10 years ago, girl, you need to get with it. You need a responsive website. Responsive. I want you guys to write that down. Responsive website. If you know what a responsive website is, give me a thumbs up. Alasia is asking me how many do you suggest we have. Let me finish with responsive. A responsive website is better than mobile friendly. Okay? Responsive means that when someone is looking at your website on a mobile device, not only is you don't want the website to look like it's a desktop version on a mobile phone. So when it's responsive, it actually completely changes so that all the pictures are bigger, easier to read, everything is easy to link to, so on and so forth. So Leja, tell me, how many do you suggest that we have? Can you reiterate what you're asking me about? Are you asking me about how many websites should you have, or how many pictures you should have? Is that what you're asking me about? Can you clarify? I'll wait a minute for that to come through. So responsive, it's very important. If I'm not clear and you're not really understanding what I'm saying by responsive, please Google it. To be just mobile friendly is not enough in today's market. It's just not enough. You have to have a responsive website. How many pictures? Okay, Alasia's, how many pictures per category, or how many pictures in your portfolio altogether? So I'll talk about both. Really, it should just be the best. Again, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. So if you have 20 kick-ass pictures that are all beauty, then by all means put 20 up. Now, you probably, quite honestly, people probably aren't going to look at all 20. If you had 10 in each category that are just kick-ass, then great. You're doing great. If you've got 3 in each category that are kick-ass, then that's great. But it's better than having 3 kick-ass and 3 so-so and 3 that suck. Because the only one that's going to get the attention, to be honest with you, is the one that sucks. So quality over quantity. Quality, quality, quality. So I hope that makes sense. So let's reiterate. Hopefully I didn't get everything written down. Clean design, domain name, phone number front and center, and responsive website. Okay? 4 things. I didn't quite go in the right order, but these are 4 things that if you have, so before I'm even going to look at anybody's website anymore, if you don't have these 4 things, I'm not even going to bother looking at your website, because those seem to be the 4 things that I have to keep telling people. You know, and a striking image that helped, so there was 5. Striking image, not a picture of yourself. You got to stop doing that. You have to. So I had I knew of this makeup artist who had a picture of like her eyes front and center on her website. This was a long time ago and it was so weird. I was like, why are your eyes looking at me while I'm looking at your portfolio? So don't do that. 4 things, 5 things, 4 or 5 things that you guys need to do for your sites. Some of you may have these things and some of you may not, but if you're a pro and you already have them, then kudos to you, thumbs up. And any other questions? I know it takes a minute for this stuff to come through. Hi Tish, hi Shani. Cynthia, you're just now getting here. Sherilyn, Shar. So what I'm gonna do next week is, I've got a little bit of time. My life just got really crazy. I'll make that announcement probably in another month. Just got really crazy, but I did just get released from a big job, unfortunately. So I will have some time next week to put up some content for you. And I'm going to put together a blog post for those of you that are on my newsletter. And I'm sorry, I'm going to put an email together for those of you that are on my newsletter. So if you are watching this, then I will be sending you a nice broken down guide for you to put your websites together. And I'm also going to put together some themes that I suggest for like Wix and Squarespace and WordPress that I think are really good for makeup artist portfolios. And I'll put together some examples as well for you guys. So you gotta sign up for my newsletter at muabiz.com. muabiz.com when that pop-up comes up, and sign up for my newsletter. And I will send that to you exclusively next week. You know, I will not put it on Facebook. It's only going to go to my newsletter peeps. So, and I know I've got a lot more followers here on Facebook than I do on my newsletter. So go join my newsletter and I'll send you the goodies so that you can have in your possession. And as always, feel free to ask any questions and I will get back to, Cynthia. She says, I got lost in all the Wix templates. There are so many, and you just need something really simple. I know off the top of my head that on Squarespace, Ishimoto happens to be my favorite. It's what I use, and the other artists that I've seen that use it, it works, it's simple, it's clean, you know. You can keep it all simple. Another thing you guys can do is logos, but some people are getting a little crazy with their logos, like they're just too much. You know, you want your logo to be nice and simple, and material design is really big right now. So I do a lot of graphic artist work, and I'm a graphic artist as well. And you guys Google material design. It's kind of the direction that everyone is getting into right now. So kind of check that out. Check out Google material design if you still haven't put together a logo for yourself. And even if you already have a logo, look and see what material design is all about, and then it'll kind of make you see whether or not your logo is really outdated, because a lot of people do have some pretty outdated logos that are just like, you know, it looks like maybe they drew it on a napkin at some point. So check that out, and thank you guys for watching. I hope this was helpful to you, and as always, share, you know, Makeup Artist Biz with your MUA friends, and let's get more business. Let's work and make our phones ring. And any other questions? Oh, Tish is talking about building her website. WordPress is crazy. WordPress is so difficult. And right now my blog, MUA Biz, is on WordPress, and I'm highly considering a change. So it's a pain. It's such a pain, and it's so expensive, and it's just not worth it in the end, I think. So that's just my opinion. But the good thing about WordPress is it is really great with SEO. So search engine optimization loves WordPress. It's #1, unfortunately. Squarespace is #2. It works really well. But we'll talk SEO another time. Something that's really important too, that makeup artists have to learn. Have a good weekend, everybody. Talk to you later. Mwah. Bye.